Alafia, Alafia. This is Kinobasi Leslie, and as usual, I am in my studio, and listening to a session that was done probably back in 2006-7 in Chicago. And basically I just want to talk about my Chicago experience with music, with jazz, and the times that I was able to visit the Velvet Lounge, which was a very historical place where all types of musicians, acoustic, because there was no electronics. Well, maybe from time to time it might be a guitar player that might plug into the amp, but in terms of computer generated stuff or whatever, everything was acoustic. Everything was natural sound, from the bass to the horns, everything, and and my experience with the Velvet Lounge was a very profound experience. I mean, they're meeting all kinds of musicians, being able to get up on stage and improvise, through, someone would probably say through the chaos, but it was a frequency and it was a chaos that was so healing that, it was a vibration that, after the Velvet Lounge experience, you were on a different plane, and the Velvet Lounge was owned by a guy named Fred Anderson, and at that particular time, Fred was in his 70s. And the only place that he played at or performed at was at his place. And everybody else used to come through and jam, and sometimes we would get there about, maybe 6, 7, and we would be there until like 3 or 4 in the morning. I mean, of just continuous vibration and music, and usually those jazz performers that have done, because every year I used to go up to the Chicago Jazz Festival, and I think now they have it at Millennium Park or whatever, and see folks like Ornette Coleman, big names, and these big names used to come and check out the Velvet Lounge. I played with Ari Brown, which is a Chicago favorite. People that used to come through there was like Gene Ammons, Don Cherry, There was a group that I used to love called Eight Bowl Souls. I mean, it was eight of them, and oh God, they used to jam. They used to jam. Uh, folks like Joseph Jarman, Roscoe Mitchell. These are some of the people that were part of the Art Ensemble of Chicago, and there was a group there called the AACM, which was a group of what you call creative musicians. You had Julius Hemphill, it had Andrew Hill. I was never there with Rashawn Roland Kirk, but I'm sure that he played there, And but historically, and there's a book out called The Velvet Lounge on Late Chicago Jazz. Picture of Fred Anderson there, and I'll tell you, Fred was such a beautiful person. I mean, it was just a beautiful spirit of, these were, what you might progress musicians at the top of their game in terms of playing and whatnot, and I used to walk in there with my horn, and they said, come on up, and man, it's just that, and then just to be able to feel the energy would take me to actually a different place, a different level, and because I had said that a lot of times that I get very bored with playing scales, and I know, hey, I'm not gonna, I mean, that's how you build up your chops, build up your theory or whatever, and doing scales and playing stuff in different keys and all of that, but as I was saying, that one of the situations that I came up with based upon my own spirit was the backdoor proficiency, meaning that, hey, just the more you play stuff, the better you get, and I mean, especially when you get with somebody that you're actually playing, and y'all get to that level of wow, it's just that you just get better, just get better. One of the pieces that I have done in memory of the Velvet Lounge is this piece here, and it's a painting that I have just recently worked on, and it's just kind of reminds me of the energy of the Velvet Lounge, and then another piece. This is a piece here that I did. Right here is a trumpet player named Clark Terry, and he was like one of the first trumpet players that I really listened to, that really inspired me. I mean, there were lots of trumpet players that inspired me in terms of my playing, or my direction, but musically speaking, my direction has always been improvisational or spontaneous, and and sometimes in that realm, you hit what one would say a bunch of wrong notes and whatnot, but sometimes, you can make the wrong notes the right notes. And, it's just that, but when you're playing from the spirit, when you're playing from deep inside, and and you're playing from authenticity, playing from just the truth of what you want to express at that particular time. Sometimes you'll be surprised what comes out. So but yeah, but during that time of 2005, 6, 7, 8, I used to consistently go up to Chicago and check out the Chicago Jazz Festival. Then I would go to a forgot the name of it. It was a record shop. It was where it was like on Sundays. The cast used to go over to the record shop and perform or whatever. But usually in the evenings, we would go over to the Velvet Lounge and just check out those casts that have been playing during the day at the jazz festival. And I was just so honored to be able to be a part of that kind of energy. And it got to a point where I was there so much, they would call me up automatically, and I would just get to play. It's just that it was what you might say a face that they saw all the time. But yeah, the Velvet Lounge is no more. Mr. Fred Anderson passed away. I would probably say he passed away 2008, somewhere around there or whatnot. And when he passed away, the Velvet Lounge went down. I think his daughter, for a while, she tried to keep it going, but she wasn't able to add that energy. Because like one of the stories was, I was in Chicago, and we were, we took the L, and I think that we took the L and went and it was on Cermak, street called Cermak in Chicago. I think it's like the west side, or the east side. I can't remember. But anyway, we got there early. Probably got there about 5, and everything wasn't open yet. But Fred Anderson was there, and and Fred Anderson, he opened the door and let us in, and he had some food and what. He said, like, just chill out, just make yourself at home, and just chill out. Everything would probably start up in a couple hours or whatever, and folks would start coming in and everything. But we chilled out, and with Fred Anderson, and I was able to speak with them, and he offered, gave us something to eat, and it was a great experience, and just being with Fred, and just kind of like being around someone that was just so open and everything, But yeah, there were other situations like Fred's place. We had a situation even here in Cincinnati called the Loft Society, ran by Al, and some of those musicians that were at the Velvet Lounge, would come here, you know, and it was kind of like an underground type situation, and maybe a lot of people didn't know about it, I mean, unless you were just part of that kind of flow or that kind of community or whatever, but I learned a lot from playing with these cats. There was one trumpet player that I liked was Malachi Thompson. He also played at the Loft. He played at the Velvet Lounge and the trumpet. Let me see, what was his name? Anyway, it's just that like sometimes I don't remember everybody's names. You know how that goes. But anyhow, what you're hearing is some of the energy that, and this is an actual tape that I did tape while I was at the Velvet Lounge, and what was the drummer name? Mead. Again, I mean, there are so many different names and whatnot, so many different musicians or whatever, but I'm going to talk about the Velvet Lounge again anyway. But I wanted to jump to this era, just like I'm like more or less just talking about my music and talking about my influences and and the Velvet Lounge and the Chicago experience was very, very profound. So, anywho, until next time, this is Ken Obasi Leslie Odabo.